Hello, I'm Megan Baker, and this is Influence Her. Monica Kurzejeski knows the importance of organization and multitasking. Her resume includes property management, construction, retail management, event coordination, and economic development, just to name a few. She is the new executive director of the Albany Convention Center Authority. We are recording here today at the Albany Capital Center. Welcome. It's so nice to finally sit down with you.
Thank you, Megan. It's great to be here.
And congratulations on the new position.
Thank you.
You have had such an interesting career path. Most recently, you were with the City of Troy, Redburn Development as well. How did those positions, along with everything else, get you to where you are today?
I really think it was like a culmination of everything that I have ever done, whether it was the retail component of it and just the community aspect and building relationships, or it was the economic development, even the Troy Farmers Market and the event component of it. It really just kind of culminated everything that I've ever done into one position, and that was super attractive. And mostly because of the authority level aspect of it was the work that I did at the city when I was economic development coordinator for them and also the deputy mayor.
Let's rewind quite a bit. You and I have some things in common here. Western PA.
Yep.
Communications.
Correct.
Let's start with Western PA connection.
Absolutely. So, grew up in Western Pennsylvania in a small town called Mercer, Pennsylvania. Went to high school, elementary school and high school there. Originally started here over in Rensselaer County. I grew up near Malden Bridge. My dad worked for Tennessee Gas Pipeline. And then he transferred back to Pennsylvania, and I ended up growing up there and graduated from high school and went to school in Ohio and majored in communications. Wanted to be a news anchor. That didn't work, but very similar. We went to Butler, where you're from, to go to Longhorn Steakhouse, or Texas Roadhouse, sorry.
And you have a family farm. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that in Western PA.
Yeah,
still to this day.
Still to this day. It's a family farm from my father's side of the family. Growing up, when I was a little kid, it was always my great aunt, my uncle, and my father owned it. And it's about 100 acres near Grove City, Pennsylvania, just off of Interstate 79. Rolling hills, pine forests. It's absolutely beautiful. A barn from the 1800s, which needs some assistance these days, but my great aunt lived there, and we always had cows. We always had heifers, beef cattle there. And it's something that when my father passed away, the kids, the 4 of the 5 of us, bought the farm for my family, not literally, but bought the farm, and we want to hold on to that generational aspect of it. It was land that was deeded to people who had worked or had participated in the Revolutionary War. So we've had it since the 1787. So we really want to keep a hold on it, see what develops. Maybe one of our kids wants to take a hold of it at some point in time. Maybe it's a retirement package for some of us. We'll see. We have a couple farmers that maintain it for us and rent it from us now. One breeds logging horses, which is super cool.
Oh, wow.
Old school, still drawing them and everything. And then another farmer rents it for the crops.
So you moved to the Capital Region in the 90s, transplanted to this area. You were a single mom, 7-year-old. What was that experience like, and what did that teach you about yourself and your strength?
So I left Ohio, and it was 7-month-old.
7-month-old.
7-month-old. Yep. I left Ohio. My sister Michelle was really my support network during that time period, and she had stayed back when we moved to Pennsylvania. She was in college. She had graduated from college from Hudson Valley. So she was really my support piece during that. And when I had made the decision finally, with her help and my family's help, to leave Ohio, she offered me to be able to come here and restart here. And I took her up on that. It was more because I always felt like New York was home after having been here I was here for like 9 years, and that was it, but it always kind of felt like home. We always visited back and forth when we lived in Pennsylvania. So I called my parents up and I said, "Can you come pick me up? I'm ready to go home." And they're like, "Sure, we'll get your room ready." And I'm like, "Oh no, I mean New York." Right. I'm going to New York. So it took me about a couple weeks to get acclimated. I got a job in 2 weeks in retail, worked in the mall in Cross Gates before it expanded. And really that was kind of the kickoff. It was hard. It was really hard to start over. I moved here with my car, my clothes, $50, and a 7-month-old baby. So thankfully I had people to support me and guide me along. But my family was also big on making sure you hit bottom, but not staying there and helping you back up.
So how did you get to where you are today? I mean, you had to have a lot of, fortitude, resiliency to get you through some of those trying times.
It is. My maternal grandparents are Finnish, and we have a term called sisu. So I dug deep into my sisu to get me here. It's a trait of the Finnish people, fortitude, resilience, just kind of a little grit. So I dug deep into that. I knew I had to do something. I had to support a baby, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to rely on that. My father said to me at one point in time, "You've learned your lesson, that you need to make sure that you can support yourself." And that stuck with me all these years. And I mean, I have a lovely husband now, and we have a great partnership, and we'll be 25 years married this year. But that's always rung true. And I've tried to instill that into my kids too. Make sure you can support yourself. You never know what might happen, whether it's good things, bad things, whatever.
It's a great piece of advice.
Yeah. And just through the positions I was able to attain, it was like sheer luck. It really was. I hate to say that. I got into working in Troy with Mr. Headley, and my friend actually had the position before me, and she was leaving, and she called me up to fill in while she was looking and going on vacation and stuff. And then she gave her notice, and I was like, "This is great. I love this opportunity." And Mr. Headley extended that offer to me, and the rest is kind of rolling history.
You say some of it's luck, but I think a lot of it has to do with your character too.
Well, yeah, that too.
Talk a little bit about the construction industry and just your background there, because that is, still very much a male-dominated world.
So I started in the construction industry as the property manager of the Headley Building in Flanagan Square. In the 90s, so it was very male-dominated. Economic development was male-dominated at that point in time in life. I had really good mentors, and I cannot stress the importance of that and the pay it forward component of that. And I try to do that when, wherever I have staff. My mentors taught me a lot. They did not see my gender as a barrier. They actually used to comment about like how I was able to kind of just work around that and just be able to kind of plug forward and keep going. But really, working with New York State, working with private entities, value options, Express Scripts, you have this really big opportunity to do a quick deep dive into that. So you had to learn quick, and you had to learn on your feet. So being able to make sure you valued those partners and you had really good mentors meant a lot. They taught me the industry, they taught me the metrics, they taught me how to calculate square foot rates and how to do all those things. And the contractors we had were super awesome to work with, and always willing to give information and always willing to educate. I mean, I used to climb up on the roof of the building just to have the HVAC contractor teach me about rooftop units, right? Yeah. It was just, I had a thirst for the knowledge, and I think that helped too. And I can spot that in people that work for me too. So I always try to empower that, just making sure that if I see somebody who's hungry for knowledge and detail like that, that they have every opportunity to explore that.
So before you came here, you were with the city of Troy, on the other side of the river, which is so close, but it's funny. Like I learned it being here. It is. Yeah, it really is.
It is.
What was that experience like? Working for the city and being in that atmosphere.
Yeah. So I had two different roles at the city. I started out as economic development coordinator, which I absolutely loved. I mean, no better person to be able to be a champion of the region and the city. I really felt like we started to identify Troy as that destination, as that influencer in the region, and really kind of establish our identity. I was really a big person about making sure all of our metropolitan areas or our urban cores, as well as all the suburban areas, start identifying ourselves, because then we can play in the sandbox a little bit better. We all have a role. We all have a destinational aspect to us that's a little bit different. So making sure we recognize that and honor that among each other, I think is really important for that regionalization that everybody's striving towards. Really love that role. And I was able to kind of cohabitate that role with my work at the farmers market, which I truly love. That was probably my biggest passion project of all. And then becoming the deputy mayor, Wow. If I only knew what I ended up with when I walked in. No, I truly enjoyed that work. I say that from the bottom of my heart. It was an opportunity that you can never replicate. You really can't. I'm very operational in nature and visionary at the same time, and it was a really good role for that, to be able to get into really understanding the nuts and bolts of how cities operate, while still having the political strategy flavor of it, and then also the economic development and the big project-based stuff that we were working on. It was a really critical time for the city because of the financial status and being able to climb out of the MEC debt and being on the end of that versus being in the middle or the beginning like some of the other administrations had been. So, it was really critical to make sure that we built that finished up that foundation for the next, for Mayor Mintello and for the future mayors of the city to be able to build upon, and also be able to complete a lot of those projects that I wrote grants for when I was doing economic development. But
I'm sure that's a proud moment to see that come to fruition too.
It was. That seawall project, while I didn't necessarily write the seawall grant, it was a long-standing project that had been, obviously since Hurricane Irene went through, been kind of standing out there. So, and then, to have a little bit of the issue with the pandemic come in,
yes.
We were able to deem it as a necessity project, essential project. So we were able to keep going and get that finished.
What intrigued you about the executive director position here with ACCA, ACC?
It was a lot of it. Like I'm a regional optimist. I really am. I think
to be a champion. I mean, we
right.
have so much to offer.
We do, and I think that we, the work that the Albany Capital Center does in bringing visitors, unique visitors, not necessarily just our Capital Region residents, but truly bringing in unique visitors that are coming from outside of the region into Albany and its surrounding counties, is a really amazing opportunity to not only be able to display what's best about us, but also to attract new businesses and to attract new economic development and interest and investment. It's a way to be able to showcase the region, and being able to be a leader and a partner in that is really important. And following Duncan, he's built such a great foundation. I mean, the man literally built the building, and then built the operational aspect of it and developed the team with ASM and the partnerships, and being able to take that and go to the next level with it. I'm super excited. And to be really honest with you, I'm really intrigued about this side of the river, and the ability to work with the three stakeholders that are part of this organization, being able to work collaboratively with all the city, the state, and the county in combination. It's really intriguing.
What is your first order of business?
First order of business is really to kind of take the Albany Capital Center and the authority itself on a mission of being able to present ourselves a little bit more publicly. While Duncan was really great at that, I think there's an opportunity now to build the business, market the destination, and that the destination doesn't mean just the Capital Center. The destination is Albany, and really jump in with the Visitors Bureau and Discover Albany, the bid, and all of the other partners that are out there. I Love New York, the Capitol Complex, which is all the entities together, and really kind of drive people here. We're back to pre-pandemic numbers, which is huge.
That's a lot.
Yeah, we are as of the end of December, we're at 967 events. We were on our way to stabilization when the pandemic hit, which is unheard of because we were there in almost 3 years versus 5 years, which is pretty typical in the industry. So being able to put us back onto that trajectory, look at where we've had lost opportunity, and then maybe look at some smart growth, within our four walls first, to expand our facilities. We have some nooks and crannies that are underutilized that can be revenue builders for us. And then we'll see what the future holds. We're looking at some market studies now to see where the industry is, see where we sit in the industry, looking at lost business, what have we missed because of our limitations here, whether it's meeting rooms, size of meeting space, and the large multi-purpose rooms, and trying to see if there's opportunity out there down the road.
Any final words of advice that you can offer those who, might have had a similar story, being a single mom and then seeing really where you've, arrived? Anything that you can offer on that?
Do exactly opposite of what I did. No, just kidding. No.
I always say the same thing.
No, you know what? It's making sure, you have to be honest with yourself, right? What are your limitations? And I think all of us in positions in, working outside of the home have all gotten to that point where we were overcommitted and like underwhelmed, like overwhelmed, completely overwhelmed. And you really have to be honest with your capacities. That I did not do well. When I look in hindsight, I did better with the third, but I think you have to make sure you realize, always be honest with yourself and honest with people around you. I think that's a big thing. Know your limitations. Don't ever stop searching for information. You always be on the lookout. I mean, even now I'm doing research, I'm looking at other places, I'm trying to, coordinate some travel to some other convention centers in the state and outside of the state just to see what other people are doing, learn the industry itself. I'm not new to economic development and tourism and those kinds of pieces. I'm new to convention centers and their metrics and their dynamics. So really understanding how things work. Always be hungry for that. And above all, just love yourself. You have to be able to do that and make sure you understand who you are and make sure you present yourself to that degree.
Very important information. It's been a great conversation with you, Monica. Monica Kurzejeski, Executive Director of the Albany Convention Center Authority. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.